have to turn my body sideways to keep from slipping. Where I expect to find solid footing, I slide on cracked concrete stained with a film of oil that is half an inch thick. It gives under my weight, and I imagine that I am ice skating. I take a deep breath, and the smog fills my lungs and clings to them like cat hair on crushed velvet. My knuckles, chapped from the record-breaking Chicago winter and bleeding from the 20 hours of recycled airplane air, are suddenly dewy and swollen with humidity. Slung over my shoulders is a North Face backpack filled with gear pulled from an infographic I found on Pinterest. Before my eyes have a chance to adjust to the high afternoon sun, I'm ushered to the back seat of a white minivan with faux sheep's fleece seat covers. The smell of the air freshener reminds me to sit by the window, breathe in through my nose, out through my mouth, and rest my cheek on the window that I was expecting to be much cooler. In the winter of my postgraduate discontent, I bought a Groupon for 30 days of unlimited yoga at my neighborhood studio. This would not remain my neighborhood for long because there is now a specialty pie shop, an Italian restaurant that only takes 20 reservations per night, 3 coffee shops that roast their own fairly traded beans, and a freshly renovated Walgreens that carries craft beer. This paves the road for the smiling babies nestled in their $1,000 Bugaboo strollers that effortlessly navigate the cracks in the sidewalk, which will be fixed by next month because suddenly the alderman cares how the 2500 block of West Armitage Avenue looks. Yoga is the thing that distracts me from the student loan balance that isn't getting any closer to zero. Interest-only payments are financed by a desk job where I am underutilized and small-talking my way through the dull throb in my kidneys from the sitting and the rhythmic pulse in my temples from the fluorescent bulbs that blink behind the plastic rectangular sheet that is textured to look like glass but is not fooling anyone. When you are 21 and you are distracted, and you're moving your body and breathing so deeply that you're borderline hallucinating, it's logical to think that you have found your life's purpose. So, I sign up for the yoga teacher training program. There's a payment plan so it won't max out my credit card in one fell swoop. Immediately upon certification, I will be armed with the knowledge to change lives, to build my following and lead international yoga retreats and curate an Instagram collaged with crow poses and downward-facing dogs flanked by mountains at sunset and beaches at dawn. The return on my investment will be tenfold. I deserve to fulfill my potential and live my purpose. After a few weeks of teaching, I have regulars, and after a few more weeks, these regulars are starting to ask me about their bodies and to divulge their fears and insecurities with hope in their eyes. And because I have this 200-hour teacher training certification, I can advise them. There is an ache deep in my gut that is telling me that I am a fraud. And the bodies and fears and the insecurities of other people have nothing to do with me. That pretending to have the answer is wrong. I need to legitimize myself, so I make the pilgrimage to India. Pilgrimage is a word normally reserved for those embarking on a spiritual journey to a site that is historically sacred to their religion. But I guess it just all depends on your intentions. This Eat, Pray, Love pilgrimage, this choose your own adventure itinerary to tailor my very own custom spiritual awakening, this is the new imperialism. I book an astrology session with a priest in Varanasi because sometimes even advisors need advice. He lives in the old city where the streets are narrow and smell like basement. I mindlessly follow the personal guide I was able to hire so cheaply with my American dollar. I take up so much space. In India, priests have trimmed mustaches, wear Panama Jack button-down shirts, Arizona jean cargo pants, and aviator sunglasses. I sit across from him at a desk that is a wood grain that swirls when I relax my eyes. He pushes his aviators tight to his face as he lights a cigarette and spits a wad of tobacco into a gnarled plastic bottle that has turned his mouth permanently red. He throws water from a brass bowl in my face and says some words that sound really ancient and important. He gives me a mantra and scrolls it on a piece of paper, stuffs it into a tiny silver capsule too small for his fingers to navigate, and unceremoniously seals it with a putty that smells like burning tires. He strings it on a brown cord and instructs me to wear it always, except for at funerals, during intercourse, or menstruation. It is tucked away somewhere, waiting to be unpacked, along with my expectations and solutions and everything else that didn't quite translate upon my return to the snowdrifts of Chicago. Thank you.